Example, in Nigeria, you find the whole Nigerian family, whether from South, North, Muslim, non-Muslim, traditional, we all have one common goal. And what is that goal? Goal to be educated, to have economically prospering job, to get a political position, and then to be respected. That's why we send our children at 3 years in nursery school down to whatever. So, but in Nigeria, just like Nigeria and America, this is a goal, but the means to achieve this goal is very narrow. Especially in Nigeria now, education is not for all. It's not for all people. That's why you find that many people cannot send their children to school. Even when they send to be educated, to have economically prospering job, to get a political position, and then to be respected. That's why we send our children at 3 years in nursery school down to whatever. So, but in Nigeria, just like Nigeria and America, this is a goal, but the means to achieve this goal is very narrow. Especially in Nigeria now, education is not for all. It's not for all people. That's why you find that many people cannot send their children to school. Even when they send their children to school, let's assume they finish after NYSC. Every year, more than 1 million youth are going for NYSC. But when they come back, less than 100,000 will get job. Even when you get job, what kind of job? For a young man now, the minimum was 70,000. Let's say you get 100 or 120,000. To go where with it? As a young man, you want to settle, you have parents, this. So you find that lack of this incessant pressure on the society to make it. So that's why individual will become what? Will become depressed, will become worried, and then will get into a stressful position that will take him to any abnormal state.
What are the warning signs that someone might be suicidal?
The warning sign is one issue of, for example, that withdrawal. When somebody is withdrawn, is in a lot of anxiety, trauma. For example, now this even issue of violence, displacement. You find that somebody is in worrisome, feeling of loneliness, and you feel the life is not worth living. So you saying that this life is not worth it. So nobody wanted me. Component with the spiritual domain of the individual. So if somebody have that spiritual domain of the individual, but if the spiritual domain is low, especially now in Nigeria, you find that greater emphasis is on wealth. People are almost worshiping money now. Look at even Soko, this group of Semalam, new cultist group coming up, simply because of what? Simply because of money and power. So you find that in the youth find it difficult to cope. So in that issue of coping mechanism, coupled with the current issue now, look at this government. More than 60 places, the subsidy have been removed. Apart from subsidy removal, we also have this issue of fuel subsidy removal and then incessant taxation. So where is our future? Especially the future of youth. So all these things combined together depress individual, the youth. Even when you finish university, you see 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years waiting for job. So you find that individual become into what ML Durkheim called state of anomie, numblessness, hopelessness. So individual become lonely and you will feel isolated, you feel dejected. So these are some of the triggering factors that pushes and induces individual to take their lives.
So what's the link between depression and suicide risks in Nigerian context?
Well, it has a lot of linkage. For example, now the issue of youth I gave you. In 70s up to early 80s, we don't have problem of the government is catering for education. Sometimes I knew Even when this long vacation, you find a child will get job, and even if it's to be paid 20 naira will last for him another month. So it's a huge money. When you finish NCs, they say ladder boko. You will be given ladder, that one car with NCE. If you graduate, shikena. You find that cement companies, banks go to convocation ceremony. Once you have 2-1, you see, even me, I finished in 1994. I finished university in 1994. When I come back for my NYSC, I'm one of those people who have took months without getting a job, 7 months. But after that 7 months, that day I got 2 offers. After 6 months, I got 2 offers. There are some of my mates, we finished NYSC today, tomorrow they started work, some 2 weeks. So what about now? And then when I get the job, after a year, I got state government rent house. The house built by late Shehu Kangia from 1988. By 2018, the former government by Aminu Waziri sold all the house. So what about now? So I settled. So what about today's youth? What do you expect? So these are some of the factors that push and pull individual to become feeling dejected. Yes.
So when you talk about like students now, some of students in Nigeria are committing suicide.
Yeah.
We've seen these reports and we have received a lot of reports about that. So what do you think triggers students that they have a long way to go in life deciding to take their lives? As
issue of financial stress, financial burden. Look at it now. Visit any of our campuses. You find that 2 weeks after resumption, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, some people didn't return. They didn't resume because their parent doesn't have money to pay their school fees or to cater for their daily upkeep. If somebody misses a semester by 6 weeks, which means half of the semester have gone. We have seen how students are stressful, are doing all what they could to ensure they keep their studentship. And that's why some students now, they engage in Yahoo. In many places you find students, male and female, engaging in this cyber criminality. Some are joining cultism, this. So, and then coupled with apart from financial stress, even academic stress, with this issue of globalization now, this issue of handset, other thing, the world now is a global village. And then this issue of luxury. Many youth now doesn't want that stress of academic pursuit. They want a shortcut based on this Nigerian overemphasis on success. So people shortcut. So all these are some of the factors. And then also associating this depression with the issue of a thing that is not taken serious in our society. Lack of professional attachment, then spiritualization of this mental health issue of depression. And then also you find that the society deject, family dejection of those mental ill people. So the society didn't accept them. Yes, so they feel vulnerable and so on. And then also even go to a psychiatric hospital. Before, I knew with 5,000, 6,000, you can take a patient there. But what about now? You will need maybe 120,000 or upward. How many people have that money? And the drugs are also very expensive for it to maintain the mental alertness of depression. So all these political economic factors are some of the strong factors that are fooling or pushing this issue of depression, and then issue of suicide also, which they have a strong correlation.
How does stigma impact mental health help seeking in behavior
Yeah. This is,
help seeking behavior in Nigeria?
this is very, very important question. Look, how do we treat the people with depression? As I was telling you, the families sometimes deject the individual. There's that social stigma, mahaukachi, madman. You see, lunatic. And then you see them across cities. And apart from that, also, there's issue of trauma. Trauma and a stressful situation now. Look at it, higher rate of insurgency now. From Maiduguri to Sokoto, how many millions IDPs, internally displaced persons? There's this issue of higher rate of escalating drug substance abuse. Look at Kano. 4 to 5 years ago, every day it was said that more than 3 million substance abuse, Benalin, Pakalin, and all those substance abuses in Kano alone. How about Kaduna? How about Katsina? How about Sokoto? How about other places? Unemployment also. Underemployment also. Eh? So lack of family support, government support also. And then societal dejection. So what do you expect? Even those that are not depressant, how are they coping in this Nigerian society? Because we become less of what we call our brother's keeper. If anything happens to you, you are on your own. So all these things, what lead some of the people with depression to take their lives, and they feel that their life is worthlessness because in that mental health makes somebody to be loneliness. He will enter into state of hopelessness. Yes, and in an anomic condition. So that's why he or she will feel alone, and people doesn't want to associate. Even family member, you find that some family members who have that history, even issue of marriage, some people are withdrawing. So socio-psychological support and other things. And this what pushes individual to commit suicide.
How does socio-economic pressures and crisis contribute to Nigeria's mental health issues?
Yes, they are very related. Look at now, many families cannot afford to keep their family intact in terms of even wages and salary. My take-home pay cannot take me home. Look at it now. You find that in the state or federal government work, somebody director is not collected up to 250,000. Once you reach directorship, at least you have 1 wife, 5 children. Even food, it cannot even buy food. What about health care? What about education? What about this? What? And then issue of over dependence of our extended family. Now, if you are working, you attend certain things, you find that especially in the northern part, many people will put their burden on you. The burden will be so intense, the pressure, that you cannot cope. So these are some of the issues. And then that this issue of socio-economic factors, unemployment, underemployment, financial stress, and then inability to, families say you cannot cope. So coping is also what? In society, everybody is for his own and God is for all of us. So what do you think? So all these push and pull factors. And then Nigeria is a country where we are operating neoliberal capitalist economy. Look at, even the government that is our mother is not sympathizing with us. Every day tax. Minimum wage is almost, where is the minimum wage? So look at it from 2015 to date. 2015, if somebody is collecting 40,000, he can use 30,000 to buy food stock that will last him for more than 30 days, even when he has family. Then 10,000, he can enter into this monthly contribution to buy this rubber, buy. That time is not less than 100,000. Today is 1.5 million. The bag that is sold 6,000 that time now is more than 60,000. So what you are spending 20,000 at that 2015, now you need about 300,000. And then that time the minimum wage is 18,000. Now minimum wage 70,000. But where 70,000 cannot hardly will buy one bag. But that time 70,000 is equivalent to almost 500,000 now. So what do you expect?
Are there cultural factors exacerbating mental health issues in Nigeria?
Yes, there are cultural.
If yes, so what are they?
There are cultural factors. As I was saying, mostly this issue of depression is tied to the cultural belief and some factors. Maybe issue of witchcraft, or maybe something that we neglect, putting spiritualization of it. And then also men, we have what you call also gender norms. That means as a man, lack of emotional, to show your emotion.
Yes.
You cannot express your emotion. They will say, Kai, this man is are you a woman? And then once the burden of emotion is on you, if you didn't release it, then it will be a problem for you. And then also in the Fulani culture of this Fulako, even as a woman, there are certain things that you should not show. So depression in Hausa is called Sunu, where you find that maybe post-marriage, a child will be married early without the person that she likes. Or even Melma, these arranged marriages. So many things. And then she cannot tell anybody. And even when she went to the house, the parent will bring her back. All those things are some of the cultural factors. And then this issue of also depression, some people doesn't look at it as a sickness. If you look at it as a sickness, then you go for the for therapy, to go for the medical expert. But sometimes it's connected that maybe somebody has genes, aljanu, or maybe is a curse of ancestor, and so such beliefs is also excavating instead of it to reduce the tension. Rather, it heightens, and then individual will be mentally affected, and then individual will be fully depressed to the extent that he don't know where to fall into, where to get the relief, and so on.
Okay, viewers and listeners, it's still your show, Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio transmitting on 91.9. We will take a short break and we will be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. In case you've just joined us, this is Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio, transmitting on 91.9. And right here at the studio, we are discussing on how we can break the silence of mental health issues causing suicides in Nigeria, and how we can address this growing crisis. And with me in the studio is Professor Usman Abdulkadir, Director, Center for Peace Studies and Head Department of Sociology, Udut University, Sokoto. You want to be part of this conversation, the number to call is 090-6000-2022. Professor Usman, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So what immediate help is available to Nigerians in mental health crisis?
Well, there are a lot of help that one at the federal government level. I think that this emergency code of 211, where the federal government gave that code, so that in case if somebody have this mental depression, that number can be called for an emergency thing. That is number one. Secondly, also the federal government and all the federal hospitals in Amfodio, in Aminu Teaching Kano Hospital, and all teaching hospital in Nigeria, they have a psychiatric unit. For example, before I know here in Usman Amfodio, we have one of the very brilliant professor of psychiatry, Professor Leto Obembe. He's late now, but I know that man has contributed a lot. We also have a psychiatric hospital like Kwari and Dawano in Kano and many centers. So that one at the federal level. At the state level, we need our hospital at that unit. So apart from that, also at the family level, also we expect care and support. You made mention of psychosocial support. Yeah, that one should be given to a family. The family need to be patient with any person in depression. It's not something that can be overcome in a night, but the parent, the family need to be sympathetic, to have empathy, to have support, to provide what emotional and psychological support to the patient, and then also to remove over spiritualization. Because what I'm saying over spiritualization, which means we are giving much emphasis that is something from God or is metaphysical. That means somebody is bewitched or something like that. So we need to move to provide what medical care attention, because one of the major factors, as we said, lack of professional help, issue of not treatment, lack of treatment, and then not taking it as a very serious issue. That's why you find many depressed people on the road here and there. So then also we need to provide wider sensitization awareness and public enlightenment, just like the way your calibrate radio and television is doing. This we hope that other radio and television stations need to give that as well as a corporate responsibility. We also need to engage the religious leaders and organizations, and then youth. We also have seen the role of NGOs. We have seen the NGOs coming through providing training and retraining the youth about this mental depression and so on. So these are some of the strategies, some of the tactics and strategies that the society is being expected to do, so that at least it lessen or it manage depression and anxiety in Nigeria.
So you've mentioned families and loved ones support. Yeah. So what role does families and loved ones play in supporting individuals battling with depression?
Malama, family is a basic and primary unit. This is what you and I have and where you and I come from. Anything that happened to us begin where? Family. Father, mother, husband, son, niece, extended family. So the first support need to come there. Then issue of neighborhood.
So what kind of support can it? Is it to love and
that
care?
That is it. The first thing, whatever happened to somebody, family first. Even lack of family support is what triggered the depression. Once somebody is being taken care of, you find emotional stress, lack of economic, social support. So that one will lead individual to depression. So family is a basic unit. It's a very, very important social unit, social organization that will give a caregiver, first care support to any person with depression. So in the absence of that, the government has a limit. because government will not give everybody home, drug, this, even to identify. So the first thing is this family to give what? To give function, positive function of family. What is that positive function? One, emotional and psychological support. It provides stability, harmony. It provides education, proper socialization, proper upbringing, teaching individual not to take any drugs, substance abuse, to look at who individual are having a peer group and so on. So this is the same because depression and substance abuse, they are related. Unemployment, family stress, and even lack of overburden somebody, especially in our northern Nigerian traditional society. If somebody, one person has a certain position, you find that almost all the extended family will saddle on his back and neck, and to the extent that he will fall down. So the family need to reduce the stress and then overburden him. Yes, so look at it, you see somebody, once you are rich, you see somebody 50, 20, 30 people in your house. So that one will also lead to depression. Now also our wives, when somebody have a wife now, especially in this stressful position, the wife need to reduce the burden. That yes, we know the financial situation. If financial situation, removal of subsidy, then the wives need to reduce the burden, but the financial stress, so that the husband will have a emotional stability. So everything they need to cut cost, so that their family will have a breathing space to be able to go with the socio-economic realities of the Nigerian situation.
So you've mentioned the role of the family members. So how can communities now?
Yes.
Because after family is community.
Communities.
How can communities help identify and support at-risk individuals?
Yeah, it's obvious. Because from your family, the next thing is your immediate neighborhood and community. In the Northern Nigerian Muslim society, we pray 5 times a day. The moment we are interacting, you know whether somebody is normal or abnormal. So that support need to be there. We need to identify. We need to look at some of the key behaviors and attitude. So once we identify that, then we need to put our helping hand. Is that taking somebody to the hospital, counseling, providing him with the financial support, and so on and so forth. So even talking to somebody, talking to him, and then providing hope, solace, consolation to the individual. But you find that some of these depressed patients, people withdrew away from them. They are seen as a mentally retarded. People doesn't even want to come closer to them. That one is enough, is a great sickness and illness. If all people detach themselves from you. So these are some of the things.
Oh, now, in summary, what can be done to improve Nigerians' mental health structure?
One of it is for the government to reduce the economic and financial stress, especially this issue of subsidy. Because issue of economic stress, trauma, financial distress is some of the pull and push factor that are leading to this depression. So the government need to look at this issue of taxation. It need to look at this issue of removal of subsidy on more than 60 things. It will need to take care of the youth, providing what? Employment. Yes, educational subsidy, hospital, and so on. Then issue of it need to provide what? A hope for the Nigerian youth in terms of reviving the future of the Nigerian youth, not also to make Nigeria a country whereby the youth will be proud of. Yes, and then also this issue of unit of psychiatric should come down even to the state, down to the local and community level in our primary healthcare unit. So sensitization, awareness, inclusion of religious community leaders. I'm happy NGOs are doing their best. It should come down to the school. And then we shouldn't detach ourselves from any member of our family who is in this depression. We need to make him to be closer to us, to counsel him, to provide economic, financial, emotional, psychological support to the individual so that he can also feel as a human being.
Prof. Musa, as a psychologist, what message do you have for Nigerians that are struggling with depression?
Well, my prayer is for them to look inward, because I'm optimistic that you can be positive even in a negative Nigeria. One, we should have positive parenting. Once you are married, you have children, we have to be alive to our family responsibilities, not what we are seeing in Nigeria today or in the northern part of Nigeria. We need to be alive. Once you are married, you also, both the husband and wife need to come together to build their psychological and emotional attachment so that it will affect the children. They should not be fighting one another. They should not be dragging one another. They should have a very polite, sociable, psychological language that will provide a harmony, stability to the younger ones. The government need to come up, the community, the religious leaders, the traditional authority also, and each and every one of us, we should be our brother's keeper, especially we that are Muslim, because it is also enjoying that al-amr bil ma'ruf and then one nahaya anil munkar. And then a Muslim are just like one body. So, and just like the way Islam called that unity, so also all Nigerians, we should feel that we are one. We have to be patriotic, we have to be nationalistic, and then we should have that sense of belonging, that those people that are with depression are part of us, and then remembering that word, we are one time like you. That means from normal to abnormality.
Thank you very much, Professor Usman Abdulkadir, Director, Center for Peace Studies and Head Department of Sociology, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, and thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you for having me, Anna Maja.
You're welcome, sir. And with this, we come to the end of today's edition of the program, Midday Vibes. And on behalf of our production crew and our guests, Professor Usman Abdulkadir, I am Hajara Usman Attajiri. Stay blessed until next time.
صلى على النبي وأم أبيها فاطمة وإذا وتزوجها